Hi, we usually have a holiday program, and this is it. I'm Mayor Schneider. I'm here with Jimmy Williams, who's the franchise holder of all the McDonald's restaurants in Florissant around here, and with Chief Lowery. Hello, everybody. Hi, guys.
Good morning, Mayor.
Great.
We usually, like I said, we have a feel-good story, and I went to the ribbon cutting for the renovated McDonald's up near Lindbergh and Halls Ferry last month, and I thought this would be a really good show because Jimmy told me that he feels like he's in the people business as much as in the hamburger business.
Absolutely.
Explain what you meant by that.
Well, first of all, Mary, let me say not only good morning to you, but Merry Christmas to you and to the Chief and to the entire Florissant community. Certainly, this is my favorite time of the year. I have two children, one who's out of the house, but we had one late in life, my son Trey Williams. And so family is very important. We had about 35, 40 people over to the house for Thanksgiving dinner and enjoyed that. And then we're going to celebrate until the beginning of the year. We're very blessed, very thankful for everything that has happened to us and to our communities that we serve in. Hamburgers and French fries every day. But in talking about people, and Mayor, thank you for coming to our grand opening. Certainly appreciated that. I came to realize early in my business career that I wasn't in the hamburger business, I was in the people business. I have so many people working with me each and every day. Their lives and my lives are intertwined in so many different ways. I worked for an amazing gentleman at a restaurant in East St. Louis, Illinois. It was a McDonald's. A very prominent gentleman, Dr. Ben Davis. He was a mentor and a sponsor for me in life. It carried me through high school, it carried me through college. I became a pilot in the Navy, and the lessons that he taught me carried me through the Navy. Certainly I became a McDonald's franchisee, and I think about him almost every day in the decisions that I have to make in the business world. And so he touched my life in a significant way. He would often say to me as a young boy, if you can't read or write or add or subtract, you can't go anywhere in this world. And so he forced me in a way to take education even more seriously than my father, who would admonish me too and warn me too, to make sure you study every night, son, right? And so he was like a father away from home. Well, in a way, I think because I'm an entry job provider, I have to provide the same sorts of things, right? And so we have a very special program called Archways to Opportunity. And I think that's what we were talking
That's
about
what I
and
wanted to
referring
talk about, yeah.
So Archways to Opportunities, in many ways, is an extension of Dr. Ben Davis, in that if you work for me for 90 days, we're willing to give you up to $3,000 to go back to school, to get your GED. English is a second language, to go to a junior college. And by the way, we've forged a relationship with the St. Louis Community College system here to extend even more money for books and supplies. We know that the average American is going to have 7 to 10 job opportunities moving forward. It's not going to be like it was when we were younger.
Right.
We also know that as we advance, going from this analog to digital society, that we're leaving something behind. Those non-cognitive skills, soft skills, how to get along with people, how to work together with a team, etc. And so those things we know we can train for it at the stores. There are other things that we know that we're going to need some help. And so we're willing to put in excess of $150 million US. The owner-operators have all come together with the company, and we've got a pot of money to give to students to go back to school, to become better trained, so they can advance in this more difficult world. So I think that's what we were talking about,
right.
And certainly that's what I'm excited about.
The chief and and the chief especially in his department, they see people that haven't had these opportunities all the time. And one way that we try to, we have a lot of different ways that we try to bridge that. Why don't you talk about some of your outreach programs, Chief? Well, you got Summons of Joy. We've got the other ones where we provide Christmas for families.
Sure.
We help sponsor football programs to try to give youth something positive interaction with adults.
Yeah, we do a lot of community outreach, and honestly, we have the Summons of Joy program, which is sponsored by NCCU, where they donate gift cards to us, and all our police officers go out there and they stop people around Christmas time for minor traffic violations. And instead of giving them the traditional regular summons, we give them a summons and joy and a gift card. And I mean, the response that we get from our community is just absolutely unbelievable. It really energizes our community and energizes our police officers, because they really enjoy doing that. We just teamed up with the Florissant Elks Club to do a Shop the Cop deal, where I think it was last Sunday. Each kid got a $250 gift card to spend any way they want. And of course, a police officer took them to the store, and it was a very nice event put on by the Florissant Elks Club. 10 kids were given these gift cards. My officers, once again, were energized. I put out an email asking for volunteers from the officers that would be interested in doing this. And I'll tell you, within minutes, I was starting to get responses from the officers. That's how energized they are about community outreach and reaching out to our community. Football U, we team up with Football U. We've been doing that for the last 5 years. It's a program where these are really talented football players, from little guys all the way up to high school. And what they do, though, is that their message is that they want to teach them to play football. They want to train them to play football. But what the real goal is just preparing them for life, knowing that not too many kids are ever going to get into college football unless they'll ever make it to professional football. And so their lives, their story really is, we want to get these kids in, but we really want to teach them about life. We don't want to just teach them about playing football. So we teamed up with that 5 years ago. We were very involved with the team, our food pantry here in Florissant. Once a month, I get 25 volunteer officers at least to go out, and we unload 2 big trucks of all the food that comes into the team.
We just had a big contest with Hazelwood.
Yes, I challenged the police chief of Hazelwood and the Hazelwood Police Department on a food drive for a month between the 2 city and police departments. We got almost 20,000 pounds of food donated. I mean, so that was a lot of work and a lot of, makes you really feel good about trying to help people out. And I get so much support from my police officers, which makes it amazing. And I'll tell you, I've never heard your story until just a few minutes ago. A very admirable story. I mean, I'm very admired by what you're saying. I mean, that's unbelievable. And as I sit here and I think about this, the one thing that we have a difficulty in law enforcement is recruitment, especially minority recruiting. And I would love to find a way that we could somehow tap into your program to help us in law enforcement.
Absolutely.
I mean, because we need good law enforcement officers, and it's been very hard, honestly, since 2014 to recruit good qualified officers. And I'd love to somehow team up with you to see if there's a way we could do that.
Would love to work with you. Chief, would love to work with you on that.
That'd be great. As I'm sitting here listening, I'm thinking this is a wonderful opportunity for us to tap into maybe some of your resources and help us out.
And and Mayor, if I can say this, I don't know if you remember the presentation that I gave. I talked about Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sachs has made an impression on me. And he got an award, the Irving B. Crystal Award with AEI. And I listened to his speech, an incredible speech. And he talked on the one hand about the contract that we have in the community. That's the contract that individuals and businesses have with, let's say, our city government or our state government or the federal government. But there's also something called the covenant, Mayor, which we spoke about. And the covenant is that relationship between the individual, let's say, and its community, small business, nonprofits, churches, etc. If indeed that relationship fails, we know that that community is probably going to fail. Why? Because you can't go to the city or to the state or to the federal government for everything. And so what's exciting about being in Florissant, we have a very vibrant covenant, and that we have a great city. We also have great community leaders, gatekeepers, who are willing to get involved. And so the answer to your question is, I would love to get involved with you. In fact, I'd love to be a part of the Rotary. You talked about the Rotary. I'd love to be a part of the Rotary as well.
Oh, great. Yeah, Rotary has a long history of helping those that are less fortunate than we are, not only in our local community but in the world. And they're very close, within an eyelash of eradicating polio in the world.
Oh, wow. And
that's just an amazing accomplishment. But they do lots of other things. They drill wells in underdeveloped countries. We have Chandra Kopp from India, who's one of our largest donators, but he also goes to India and makes sure that we have partnership programs with folks in India. And we also have partnerships with people in South America, where our Rotary is actually directly involved in those programs, in addition to helping Mary Grove, a home for unwanted and abused children here in Florissant.
Yes.
We have the Sheltered Workshop and also TEAM and a lot of other worthy organizations, in addition to scholarship funds that Rotary provides and gives out every year. So we would love to have you. I'm sure Florissant Rotary would love to recruit you to be one of our members. And they meet every Tuesday. You know, Rotary's starting to get younger again. You know, for a while it was kind of aging, and now we're getting new blood and new energy in our Rotary, and we're starting to grow in numbers. Our Florissant Rotary used to be about 120 people, and now it's going back up in that right direction. But I wanted to also touch on that we all three of us have some Navy ties. The Lowery family has a pilot, a Navy pilot.
Yes.
Your nephew?
My nephew Robbie. Yes.
And
Nice.
and also my dad was Navy, a chief. My son was a chief. I didn't have the right stuff to be a chief, but after I got my college degree, I got commissioned in the reserve, so I outrank them. And I know you in the Civil Engineer Corps, but you were actually a line officer in the Navy, weren't you?
Absolutely. I had a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, my father served in the Army. And you know, when it came time for me to make that decision after college, my sophomore year in college, I decided I wanted to go in the Navy and I wanted to fly planes. And certainly that's what I did, mostly helicopters for the Navy. But I've had a wonderful time. I had a wonderful time in the United States Navy. A lot of friends. So on the one hand, you can say it was about flying. On the other hand, it was about relationships. And again, when I spoke about you know, working with so many friends at McDonald's each and every day at the various units across the St. Louis area, I work with them. Well, I got that from the Navy. You know, because in the Navy, as you know, the average age on that ship, on that flight deck is 19. You also know that you have to work well as a team. You really do have to work well as a team. And so those same skills, the same skill set that I learned in the Navy has helped me in business.
You know, the Navy, the Army, the Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, it is a segue. It's an opportunity to serve our nation. It's a very honorable thing to do. But you know, they don't just take anybody. So you need to have your education. You need to have as much education as possible if you do want to take advantage of that segue. And actually, it's a key for many people's success. People grow up a little different in the military environment. It's not for everybody, but those that are wired for it, it will. I don't think you'll ever regret serving time in our military and making that, you know, that commitment to our ideals, and it'll be respected for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
But to get in, young men and women, they need to pay attention in school.
Absolutely.
And that's true no matter what their avocation is. And let's talk a little bit about how you try to get people back on track who maybe have let their education slide and their opportunities be limited. How do you get them in a position where they have more opportunities?
Great question, Mayor. And so really what we're talking about, especially in the communities that we serve in, is workforce development. How do we retain, train, and sustain our citizens in a way, in a community? And so, you know, we have to have a very vibrant economy. But in order to have a very vibrant economy, you need young people, you need people in general who are able to take those positions. And so what do we do as a society when we know that we're changing? As I said before, we're going from this analog world, Chief, to this digital world. In fact, we're there. But in addition to that, we know that those non-cognitive skills that we talked about earlier are going to be very important. We can't do without them, those soft skills. And so on the one hand, when I get an individual, an entry-level individual into the units, we know that if you can serve people, if you can work with people every day, if you can pay attention to detail, if you can resolve problems, those things really help you. And if you have the ability to go back to school and get those technical skills, those digital skills, oh my God, can you flourish in this new world? You just mentioned about the Navy, the Army, Air Force, Coast Guard. Everybody can't go now. You've got to bring something to the table. And so I think I'm very proud of what McDonald's is doing here and what the owner-operators are doing. Because what they're saying is we can meet the individual where they are and we can help them go to where they want to go to, right? And so let's say an individual comes to me and he doesn't have his GED. I'm willing to work with him. After 90 days, go to school. I'm willing to train them within the stores to make sure that those soft skills are there. I'm willing to give the money to make sure the hard skills are there. And then moving forth from there, success can be written all over you. So we're excited about this program. It's called Archways to Opportunity. I'm going to shout it out at the next Rotary Club meeting. I'm going to tell everybody about it.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised that having a program like this and an attitude like this, that even the employees that maybe aren't quite ready to take advantage of it, that they have a better attitude and morale, just knowing that that opportunity is available to them.
Oh, absolutely. And I think most young people, your experience in the military and yours too, you know, leadership is very important, right? Having a strategy. There's a lot of uncertainty out here with all of us. Certainly being very young, there's uncertainty about the future. Well, having a plan, in a way, is a good thing. I call it having a blueprint in life first, right? And then establishing that mission statement. And then how do you work that, right? And I think what we're doing at McDonald's, we're saying, okay, you know, this is the blueprint. Not just for McDonald's. It's a great place to start, a great place to have a career. But you know what? If you want to do something different like I did and go to the Navy, please go do it. If you want to go into corporate America, if you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, engineer, a pilot, please go do it. But we can help with that.
Yeah, you know, I noticed that, I hope it's a temporary phenomenon, but some of the fast food restaurants are really having a hard time staffing. But I would be surprised if you have a hard time staffing because of the upbeat attitude and the opportunities and the caring about that you seem to have for your employees.
It's a challenge out here. As you know, the economy is heating up. The unemployment rate is very low now, around 3.8, 3.9%. And so it's a challenge out here to get the individual that, the perfect individual out here. I've come to find I wasn't perfect. I've come to find that, you know, I love the employees I have. And meeting an individual where they are, and like you said to me earlier, I've been in the business now 20 years, Mayor. And I have employees who have left me who have gone into every type of endeavor you might think of. And I'm so very excited to be a part of that, in a way. They're family.
Well, this has been our, Chief, do you have anything else you want to add?
Honestly, just want to say is that it's kind of unbelievable that you're investing in these employees like you do and our young people, because as you know, most of these restaurants and these type of entry-level jobs, they're not that invested in their employees like you obviously are, and that's just unbelievable, because that's something we don't see, and that's why I think a lot of these other places are having problems staffing, because you actually care about your employees and you care about their futures, where I don't think we see that in, you know, I think all we worry about is making sure we have somebody at that cash register from 9 to 5 or for the time you're open till you close, but you're just investing in your employees, which is absolutely unbelievable, and I'm glad to hear that. That's great for our community.
Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you so much.
Well, as we wrap up our 2018 holiday feel-good story, I'm going to let you guys wish your employees and the public happy holidays, and then I'll finish up. Chief?
I just want to wish everybody happy holidays for the city of Florissant, to all of our residents, our business owners, and certainly all of our employees. We honestly have some of the greatest employees, and that's why I feel like I have such a successful police department, because of my employees. So I just want to wish everybody happy holidays.
And I can't say it any better than that, Chief. So Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holidays to everyone. And thank you very much, Mayor, for having me on your show.
Thank you. And you know, this Christmas, when you're surrounded by the blessings of family and liberty, pause to reflect on the sacrifice that our military is making around the world and that our police and firefighters are making here at home. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.